Hey guys, my name is Shrish. So right now I was supposed to be making the actual review for the Motorola One Fusion Plus, but that phone got delayed thanks to Flipkart. Flipkart, as always, is just being Flipkart. That phone hasn't even dispatched it, and yeah, that sucks absolutely. But anyways, I got to sort of spend a lot of time thinking about the Motorola One Fusion Plus as a phone. Like, where exactly does this phone stand among the phones under the price of 20,000 rupees? Is it the best phone under the price of 20,000 rupees? And frankly speaking, the answer is a bit complicated. So yeah, I'll just share my perspective on which, in my opinion, is the best phone under the price of 20,000 rupees and why exactly. So a couple of weeks ago, if you would ask me which, in my opinion, is the best phone under 20,000 rupees, I without a doubt would have said Poco X2. And why not? Because that phone has got like 120 Hz display, it has got 4500 milliamp hours of battery capacity on paper, it has the Sony IMX686 camera sensor, and overall that phone is just, it provides great value for money under the price of 20,000 rupees. But of course, the Poco X2 isn't a perfect phone by any means. It has its own flaws. Firstly, the battery life. Like, even though the phone has like 4500 milliamp hours of battery capacity, there's also a 120 Hz display, which puts massive strain on the battery, and the battery life and the battery optimizations on the Poco X2 are simply not good enough. So yeah, the battery performance on the Poco X2 is underwhelming. Then there's the software, which in my opinion not a lot of people like on their phones. Like MIUI, I know a lot of people like it, but there are a lot of people who would prefer stock Android over MIUI, because simply stock Android is much lighter, it's much cleaner, it has no ads and stuff. And then also, if we talk about the ad situation on the Poco X2, technically there aren't ads on the Poco X2 because you don't see ads popping up in the notification panel. But if you open apps like Mi Video or Mi Browser, which is very likely if you hand over your Poco X2 to let's say someone who doesn't really have a lot of knowledge about the ad situation in general, then in that case he will be greeted, or he or she will be greeted with a lot of inappropriate advertisements. But now we do have the Motorola One Fusion Plus phone, which again by no means is a perfect phone. It has its own flaws, like it has a plastic build, it doesn't have the Sony IMX686 camera sensor. It's simply not the absolute best phone under 20,000 rupees on paper. But the Motorola One Fusion Plus, in my opinion, sort of fixes or sort of walks over the cons on the Poco X2. For example, the battery life. Like, battery life on Poco X2 is not really that much good. On the other end, Motorola One Fusion Plus has firstly a higher capacity battery, 5000 milliamp hours, and on the other hand, it also has a 60 Hz panel. Secondly, it has cleaner software, it has literally very less bloatware, it doesn't have any ads in any of the stock applications. So overall, I think Motorola One Fusion Plus, it sort of aims to deliver that refined smartphone experience once you start using the phone. And a Moto One Fusion Plus also offers more storage at lesser price. So that again is a factor to consider for a lot of people. And on the other end, there's the Realme 6 Pro, which doesn't necessarily have anything in special. There are also ads on the Realme 6 Pro. Realme 6 Pro also has an IPS LCD 90Hz panel or a high refresh rate panel. It doesn't even have the best-in-class camera under 20,000 rupees. It comes with the Samsung GW1 sensor. And overall, that phone is just, I don't know, it is a very weird device in my opinion. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that no phone in this segment is absolutely perfect, and there is no recommendation that I can pass on to every single guy out there. Like, there is no universal recommendation under the price of 20,000 rupees. But yes, there are certain standalone aspects, like the Motorola One Fusion Plus has the stock Android, which is in my opinion its major weapon. Then there's the Poco X2, which has got the Sony IMX686 camera sensor, and then there's the Realme 6 Pro, which doesn't have anything special in particular. Like, if the Realme would have given us an AMOLED display panel at 90 Hz, that would have made a lot of sense. Or if, like, I'm okay with the 90 Hz IPS LCD panel, if there would have been a Sony IMX686 camera sensor on that phone, then in my opinion that phone at 90 Hz would have been a balanced phone, and that would have been its identity. So because all of these phones have sort of very distinguishable cons, it is really difficult to sort of recommend one phone to everyone. But I'll try to simply break down which phone you should go for under 20,000 rupees. Firstly, if you want a cleaner experience with your smartphone, a refined experience, and you want the absolute best value for money phone, if you don't care about the build quality, and of course if you don't care about the cameras, like if cameras is not really your topmost priority, then you know the Motorola One Fusion Plus is definitely the best phone that you can buy under 20,000 rupees. You don't need to, you know, splash in extra cash for Realme 6 Pro or the Poco X2. And also, if you are eventually going to sort of use your phone with a case or with a skin, then I don't think you should be worried about the build quality on the Moto One Fusion Plus. Like that, in my opinion, is a perfect phone for you. But then if camera is your priority, then you know, definitely go for the Poco X2. Of course, you've got to compromise with the battery life, unlike the Moto One Fusion Plus. So if you want a camera centric phone with a high refresh rate display, then go for the Poco X2 without a doubt. That is a perfect phone for you. And then if you just have some extra money to splash in, and if you are, you know, a fan of Realme, and if you don't necessarily have a specific demand as such and you're okay with the ads, then go for the Realme 6 Pro. Like that again is a great phone in my opinion. But again, like if you are going to eventually buy a Realme 6 Pro and you're not into the high refresh rate, then in my opinion you should just go for the Motorola One Fusion Plus. Frankly speaking, the Motorola One Fusion Plus would have been the perfect phone under 20,000 rupees if it would have come with a slightly better build quality, like maybe a glass back or something, or if it like had a high refresh rate display or an AMOLED display panel. I think that phone would have been sort of the undisputed king. And yeah, that's it for this video. I know this video didn't really go in the right direction. Like this was an unscripted video, so I'm not sure how this turned out. But yeah, like I just wanted to talk a little bit about the phones under 20,000 rupees, because this is a question that I have, you know, received quite a lot often as to which phone to go for. So that was just my perspective, and hopefully you can get some clarity on which phone to buy. So yeah, that's it for this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching.